friends, welcome in, welcome in. I hope everyone's doing so well today. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I hope the audio is fine. I remember my mic being way closer to me, but we moved. Do you know what I mean? Thank you so much for the stuff with Prime. I appreciate it so much. I will get you. I've just done Keone's. And I will get yours in. I have these cute little stickers. Some of them are upside down, questionable, but I got these little stickers because I was like, well, for this month in general, we should have these stickers. But turns out this is the first time that I have streamed this month's We Move. But we are gonna do. I think we're gonna do this one. It is. Eek. It's just little shamrocks and little hat as well. Will it focus? Might have to do a YouTuber. Well, listen, that's about as good as we're gonna get, to be honest. The lighting is kind of wild because I have my like down setup. As you can tell, I've got like this little thing here for when we do our cross stitching. So hence why it all looks a little bit funky. I feel like I'm being like lit below, you know? Like it's very much a vibe, right? Okay. Let's write down your sub. Okie dokie. There we go. This feels so weird for me. Like I think I haven't streamed in like over 2 weeks, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it's enough time apparently for me to just fully forget like how to stream and what I'm meant to be doing and stuff. Like I'm like help. But here is your sticker. Sorry, I'm having to like do a full like reach around this because I don't want to knock it too much because I think I've got it set up about right. Yeah, honestly, it does. It very much is giving that. I also have my Irish t-shirt on, which you definitely can't see, but it says Cork Island on it, which is where I was born and raised. Which is Slay. You can't see it, but we move. I also have ears on that I got in Primark many, many moons ago now, it seems, for like 25p or something ridiculous. So we'll keep I'm already warm. I'm already warm and overstimulated, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But thank you so much for the subbies. I appreciate it so much. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We are celebrating St. Patrick's Day in the only way I know how, which is with cross stitch. I got some cross stitch kits a little while ago. So I thought we could do them together. I don't know exactly how long they're going to take. I only just took them out, and turns out they're bookmarked. Well, I knew they were bookmarks, but turns out they look like this. So they actually are kind of like needlepoint. I've been seeing a lot on needlepoint talk at the moment, where it's like you have the pattern already, like in the actual like fabric, and then you just cross stitch or stitch over the top of it, which for me personally, I always think takes slightly some of the fun out of it. But I also think, honestly, for a stream cross stitch, this will be quite good. So these ones are 4-leaf clovers. They're not for St. Patrick's Day, but I just really like the pattern of them. So I think this is the one we're going to do. I have other ones as well. It came with 6 of them. So these are the options. Jail. These are the options. I did also kind of like this one as well with the rainbow hat. I mean, I'm going to make all of them eventually, but I feel like I want to start with this one. Like, yes, it's jail. It's a lucky clover. It's not a shamrock. But did I realize that until it arrived? No. And I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to send it back. So I was like, you know what? It was probably produced by an American company. Okay. It was very likely produced by an American company. And I'm just going to have to. They tried. They didn't try very hard, but they did try. So that's what we're going to be doing today. It comes with all the thread as well, which is really fun. So it literally is like all set up. So we have this, we have thread. This one's 3 colors. It comes with a little pair of scissors, a little like threader, and the little needles as well, like everything, which is quite nice. And it was pretty cheap, which is good. So that's kind of how we're going to like celebrate St. Patrick's Day, because I was like, I want to do something to mark the occasion, because usually I don't really do anything. So I was like, I kind of want to do something, and I was like, I need to stream, otherwise I'm just going to get stressed out about streaming, I think, because I'll be like too nervous to do it or whatever and stuff like that. Like, so I didn't want to be like that. But I thought what we could do is just have like a bit of a yap session and a catch up, since it's been nearly 3 weeks since I've streamed. A lot's happened in those 3 weeks. I've started my new medication. I'm actually about to increase my medication tomorrow. So today is the very last day on my low dose one. And then I'm moving to change. So I've started new medication. That's been like a journey. So we can chat a little bit about that. We can just chat about just, and stuff. Yeah, real. Because I'm like, if you're gonna say St. Paddy's Day, please just say it with the D, at least not the T, like crying. Just doesn't make sense, babe. Just doesn't make sense. But we forgive and we forget. People are trying. Not very hard, but they're trying. So vibes. But yeah, so I thought we could just have a little bit. I've just noticed how uneven this fringe is, but I do think it's maybe because I have the headband on. Like, look at that little piece there that's just completely vibing on its own. I'm pretty sure it's being pushed forward, but we move. So yeah, I thought we could just have like a chit chat session as well as just crafting, very chill energy and stuff like that. I will be fully honest, I'm not entirely sure how much I will be streaming from like now on, to be honest, because I don't really know. Things might change a little bit when I go up my medication tomorrow and in the next 2 weeks when I adjust to it and stuff like that. But at the moment, my like level of motivation to do stuff during the day is quite low. So during the day is difficult for me, and I would say especially things like games during the day are difficult. I don't really play games during the day unless it's on stream. And lately I haven't really been playing a hell of a lot of games. I've been playing a bit of Stardew, sometimes Roblox, and Repo. And that's kind of it, really. I haven't really been playing much else, and the motivation to start new games has been quite low. So I'm trying to hope that that will come back. I think it will. But honestly, a lot recently, I've just been existing. I've just been trying to exist through the day, doing crafting if I can, getting out the house when I can, energy wise and stuff like that. Doing bits and bobs around my room. We're decorating and doing bits and bobs. You cannot see any of it here at all. We love to see it. But other bits of my room have been decorated and like sorted out and stuff. So I've been mainly just doing those type of things. I have been filming a lot of TikToks as well recently. I don't think it's going to be like, I think it's, I don't really know, I suppose. Like I've really been enjoying short form content because I think for my energy levels and motivation, it's easier for me to film something shorter, right? Thank you so much for the lurk. I appreciate it. So it's like, with shorter form stuff, I think it's just easier for me because it's like, oh, okay, like I don't know, it's less with streams. I think the continuous like 1 hour or 1 hour plus and stuff of kind of being like switched on, I think is quite difficult for me at times, just because of energy and motivation and just general like functioning and stuff like that. So I feel like I've been enjoying like shorter form content and stuff. That doesn't mean I'm never going to stream again. It just means they'll probably be more infrequent and more focused on art and co-working, I think, more so than games. There will be some games for sure, but it's probably less frequent. I'm kind of just like, I think I'm just kind of discovering myself outside of streaming for the first time in like a long time. So I started streaming, I think like November 2023, I want to say. I think it's November 2023. So it's been over 2 years now since I've been streaming. And I basically started streaming just randomly. I didn't have a lot to do. I was kind of in a difficult place in my life. I still am, lol, that's making it sound like I'm fine. But you know what I mean? Like I was in a very different, difficult place in my life. I'd finished university, I'd finished my master's degree and stuff, but I wasn't able to find work. I was finding myself feeling worse and worse physically and mentally, and then realizing that there was probably other stuff going on with me and stuff. And I, when I started streaming and I started to stream more and more, I kind of like pushed myself into it massively. I streamed like almost every single day, and then even when I cut back, it was like 5 days a week, and then 3, and then eventually it's down to like now and again, basically. But I think for those times, streaming was my entire life, if that made sense. Like I didn't really do much else. There wasn't much else for me to do. There still isn't. I'm still like living in the same place that I started my streaming journey and stuff. But I feel like now things are changing. A lot is changing quite quickly. And I think I'm just discovering more that I can exist outside of streaming and have it a bit more casual for me and be able to be like just stream whenever I want to and stuff. And I think like for a long time, I think, you know, obviously a lot of people relate to this when you start streaming. You want to hit affiliate and then maybe you want to hit partner and stuff. And I think for me, I'm just maybe not really as interested in that anymore per se. Like I'm not particularly interested in it. Like I'm not really very goal orientated any longer and stuff like that. Like I'm just not, you know. I think for a long time goals and stuff were pushed on you as a streamer. I think especially when I kind of first got going and a lot of like communities and stuff were like, hey, join this, or like this, and it was all very much like pushing goals on people, or like it was all about that. And I don't think I've like massively ever really wanted to be like that per se, you know. And it's like I think the idea of like becoming a partner and stuff in the future was more so for like the ability to maybe be able to support myself a little bit better and stuff. Thank you so much, Azzy. Welcome in, welcome in. But yeah, so I think the aspiration of stuff like that has very much been to support myself more financially, more so than actually wanting it, if that makes sense. Hi Ty, welcome in, welcome in. I hope you're doing so well. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I think for me that aspiration and stuff was very much like oriented on wanting to be able to support myself more financially, because I am unable to like do work and stuff like that. I'm not able to work and stuff. Oh my god, you got drink time, let's go. I'm not able to work a job and stuff. And it's going to be really far in the future if and when I'm able to like work a quote unquote regular job, you know. Like I have a lot of physical problems going on with me and of other stuff as well and things. Yeah, I think it's just like I think for me for a long time it was the only thing that I had in terms of socializing and something to do with my time and something productive to do with my time. And I think now I'm like changing my relationship a bit with Twitch, and the fact that I don't need to spend 24 hours a day on it like I used to. I used to be everywhere all at once and I was like, "Wah!" And all of that good stuff, you know. And I feel like I like burnt myself out so much because I was like just here and there and everywhere. There was times where I used to be like literally like lurking in multiple people's streams on multiple different platforms, like on, you know, like on my phone or like on, you know, my laptop and stuff when I had my laptop and stuff like that. And I spent all day, every day that when I wasn't streaming, I was just watching streams constantly in people's chats, talking all the time. And I found I was so burnt out because I was like, that was like my whole reality from when I got up to when I went to sleep. It was all focused on that. And I feel like now I've made some really solid friends through streaming that I can like socialize with outside of Twitch, and like it doesn't have to be about streaming, if that makes sense. For a long time, a lot of the friends I had, I'm not friends with any of them now, but when I first started streaming, a lot of the friendships seemed transactional because they were interacting with me in the hopes that I would interact with them and their stuff. And although I would do that, I wanted it to be more for the reason that I wanted to, if that makes sense. Thank you so much for the subby. I appreciate it so much. Hold on, let me pop this in here. We've got a little page going. I'm sorry, I'm like trying to, you can't tell, but I'm like robotic because I'm trying not to knock. Oh my god, you got Tilly. Tilly is asleep in the next room. It's sunny outside. It's like 14 degrees and sunny, and both of my lazy ass cats are inside right now, upsetting. I can't speak, I'm also inside, but we move. I think we're gonna go with this one. This is like a little stripy number. Little stripy shamrock on shamrock moment. Shamrock a la shamrock momento is what we're gonna go for. I think this is really cute. These stickers are quite bigger than I thought they were going to be, but we move. Do I read any descriptions? No. I just buy things and then I'm like, oh shit! Like, that's not right, or that's different to how I thought. Same with the cross stitch. I'm like, the cross stitch I was going to start, or I am going to start in a minute, is quite literally 4-leaf clovers. And I'm like, 4-leaf clovers aren't associated with St. Patrick's Day in any fucking way. Or, like, or to be honest, island in any way, to be honest, but we move. So, but I mean, the pattern is pretty, but when I got it, I just saw it and saw the other ones and I was like, vibes. And then looking at it, I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, that's I was like, when I got out of the packet, I was like, that's a 4-leaf clover, but it is a cute pattern. So I'm just gonna have to allow it for now. We're just gonna learn, and well, other people are gonna have to learn and grow real quick because it's something that kind of gets it annoys me. So shamrocks are the 3 ones, and they are like associated specifically with Ireland. There's a bit of a religious element to it. They represent something. It's like 3 different things. It's kind of like the like what is it? The ghost, the Holy Spirit, and something. It represents 3 different things. There's kind of a religious element to it, but now it's kind of like developed kind of away from that and stuff, you know. So it's just synonymous now. Whereas a 4-leaf clover with the 4 is considered lucky because they are rarer than finding one type of situation. They are, you know, just rarer and stuff like that. So they're considered lucky, and I think the association comes from like the luck of the Irish or whatever. But like there isn't actually any association with 4-leaf clovers, like and Ireland, you know what I mean? Which is kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure it's the Holy Trinity. It's 3 things, and I literally looked it up the other day because I used to know it like off by heart, and I was like, oh, I've just like lost that knowledge. Like I went to a very like strict Irish school, right? Hold on, what is it? It does say. I don't need the whole shebang. I'm pretty sure 100%. Here we go. Oh my god. I love when websites have horrendous fonts. Yes, it is. Oh my god, I knew it was the Holy Trinity. It literally is. It literally is. So St. Patrick, St. Patrick used the shamrock to basically describe the Holy Trinity, essentially as the T, which is what I thought, but I was like, I don't know, like my school, when I went to school in Ireland, was pretty religious based, but it wasn't like a strict Catholic school. Like it wasn't like deemed a religious school. It just had a lot of religious themings. Thank you so much for the quiet hello. I appreciate it. So yeah, my education in Ireland was very religious focused because it's a very religious place. But it wasn't actually a like Catholic school or anything like that. If I'd stayed in Ireland longer, I would have had to go to a convent, love, for my like next like layer of education and stuff. But my school wasn't strictly religious. It just had like heavy religious themes. So like we, you know, celebrated all the religious holidays and stuff like that. It was a lot of religion, a lot of God shit stuff, and it's like I'm an atheist. Like I'm an atheist. My family are and stuff. A lot of people are nowadays as well, but obviously it's still very ingrained. I don't know what it's like today. Maybe it's very different nowadays. Potentially, but when I was growing up in Ireland in like the late 90s to like early 2000s, like religion was still a popping off. Like it was very much a popping off, you know, it was a very much a thing, you know, regardless of who you were, it was like religion was at the forefront, you know, like very much so. But yeah, so it represents the Holy Trinity. So yeah, basically the 4-leaf clover has actually nothing to do per se with Ireland, like as such. I think the association again has just come from the fact that a 4-leaf clover is rare. So therefore it's a symbol of luck because if you find one, you're very lucky. But it's not actually associated with Ireland in any way. But again, just the luck of the Irish type vibe, and has just kind of somehow become associated. I'm not really sure where that came from and if it was some kind of like an Americanism, or I really don't know. If anyone does know, like let me know. I could have researched this, definitely haven't, but we move. So that's what the difference is between them. So it's like, it's not, I wouldn't say, people will get pissed off if you use the 4-leaf clover instead of the shamrock, or call, God forbid you call a 4-leaf clover a shamrock, because it's not. Shamrock actually means little clover. It's taken from the original Irish, means little clover, which essentially is what it is. Like shamrocks are little baby clovers, which is really cute. But if you mix them up in symbolism, I feel like people won't get too pissed. But if you say one is the other, then I think people will get pissed. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, I went to when I moved to England, I went to what is it? C of E school? What is that? Church of England? I get very confused because like I'm not religious, so like Church of England, is that just Christian? I think. I don't know. Um but so we had assemblies every day and we had like a local vicar, priest. What is the other name for it? I don't know if there's a reverend question mark, unsure. We had like one of those local dudes come in. Essentially we had to say the Lord's Prayer like before we went to uh break, lunch, at the end of the day, all of that good stuff. Like, you know, we had to do all of that fun shit basically. And there was like, our education wasn't super religious-y because like we, you know, it's not like they like deleted bits of science and stuff or whatever. It's just like it was there, like it was technically a religious school, but I think all the schools in the area were technically religious. Whereas the school I went to in Ireland wasn't technically religious, but it was like pretty much an unspoken thing, like because in that part of the country, well, just in Ireland in general, the Protestant v Catholics thing is obviously still a humongous thing. And when I was there, it was like very much a thing. Like you wouldn't want to be a Protestant like in certain areas. And although my family were not religious, that was better than being the other side, you know, which is like whatever. But yeah, so it was like there was definitely a lot of like religious themings and stuff. Like we, you know, did Ash Wednesday, a local priest came in, did the little ash on our heads and stuff, did a lot of like very religious-y stuff around like, you know, Christmas holidays and stuff. Which is like really interesting given the fact that obviously like Ireland isn't like originally wasn't a Christian country, but like times move on and stuff, you know, whatever. I don't know much about religion because I haven't really ever been taught anything, if that makes sense. So I'm like I'm really clueless, honestly. But you know, we did all of that in school and all that good stuff, but I'm not really sure how I got to this point. Genuinely don't know. We're gonna have a smoothie break. I made myself a smoothie before stream, and it's just been sat here, like literally just sat here. So we're gonna have some. A little bit thick for that straw. I really need to get like a bigger straw, like one of those like chunky ones. Um, but yeah. So what do we think? Are we gonna allow this? The other options for cross stitch are, now I did quite like the rainbow one. It's a little bit, but there's this one with like a hat and a rainbow and beer, not Guinness, bear in mind. When I bought this, it looked more authentic. And once I got it, I was like, this is giving American vibes. I mean, maybe it's not, but the more I looked at it, the more I was like, ooh, this isn't super iconic. Like, why isn't there Guinness on there? Like, why is there just random beer? Like, what do we even mean? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I can't have matcha anymore, unfortunately. Can't have matcha with my meds. Very sad. It is kind of devastating because I love matcha. I love strawberry matcha so much, but I unfortunately can't have it anymore, which is really sad. I'm not meant to have any caffeine, but I have been having a couple sips of Lucozade in the afternoons because I get so tired. Because my medication stopped working after about 5 days, I've just slowly been perishing away. So I think a couple days ago I got to the point where I was like, if I don't have a little bit of Lucozade, I had like half a bottle instead of a full one. If I don't have some, I think I may just kind of like waste away. Like I was like, I just can't do this. So I had some yesterday, and it actually really helped me just to have like a little bit. But you can't mix. You usually shouldn't be mixing caffeine and stimulants together because like don't do that. Technically you can have a little bit, but matcha's way too much apparently to have. So sad times. I can have matcha if I had a day off on my medication because you can have days off. But sobbing, we love to see it. Okay, that wasn't a fun story. We love to see it. No, it was fun. It was fun. I have never tried Guinness in Ireland because I was not of the age to drink when I lived there. So I've never had I lived next to a distillery when I was younger, so we saw like the trucks come in and out and stuff, which I always thought was like so fun. But I've never had a Guinness. I've only had a Guinness in the UK, which is, I hate crime. I do plan on one day visiting Ireland again. It's just money for me is tight. I don't have like a lot of money right now and stuff. So being able to say travel and stuff like that, although you can get cheap flights, obviously having to go and think of like a hotel and all of that like you know, is kind of expensive. Like I'd like to visit where I was living when I was a child, but it's all the way down south, all the way down south. Hi T, welcome in, welcome in, friend, welcome in. How are you doing? I'm relieved the raid thing still works. It's gonna worry it was gonna be broken. Welcome in, T. How is everyone? Hi, Stabby. How is everyone today? Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you all so much. Hi, T. Welcome, welcome. We're back. We're back after a long time, friends. It's our first stream in like 3 weeks. We love to see it. But thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you had a great rest of your stream. If you'd like to let us know what you were up to, I haven't played Palia in like months, so I'm so out of touch with what's going on in Palia, but I hear there's a new update, so I feel maybe you may have been prepping, but listen. I was lurking earlier, but I was also doing 6 other things, trying to like make sure I eat and this, so I feel like I was not quite like locked in, you know? But thank you so much for being here. And for anyone who came in with the raid, my name is Flynn. I am a variety-ish streamer, but we're kind of slowly transitioning into more of an arts and crafts streamer / just chatting as well. I've been away for a little while, just having a break. I've been titrating on new medication, and I'm finally feeling up to dipping my little toesies back into streaming. So if you like a comfy place, neurodivergent friendly, lurker friendly, kind of very chill vibes, low energy, low spoons and stuff like that, then I really hope you'll enjoy your time here so much. We are going to be doing some St. Patrick's Day cross-stitching soon, so stick around if you would like to watch that, but also if anyone needs to raid and fade, please definitely do so. We're saying goodbye to the Lunar Market and prepping for the new update. No idea what to prep, honestly real. So we fished. As you should. I feel like when I used to play Palia a lot more, I always felt like I had no idea what to prep. Like I just went into like panic mode when there was a new update, being like, must do all the things, I should have everything and money and this, and I'm like, I feel like everyone else seemed to have their shit together, and I was just like, I'm just gonna obsessively mine. That'll do, I'm sure. Like all that good stuff. Hi Rock, welcome in. No, you're good. Honestly real. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We've just been having a little yip yap about what have we been yapping about, honestly. A little bit of everything, really. Just chit-chatting and stuff like that. We are celebrating St. Patrick's Day today, since it is St. Patrick's Day. I am Irish. I know I don't sound it, but I am Irish. I'm an Irish citizen living in the UK now. Womp womp. But I was born and raised in Ireland. I lost my accent tragically, but I was born and raised there to English parents, so I have a little bit of a unique situation in which I am Irish, but my parents are not. Me and my brother are, but obviously my parents are not. So when I was a kid, I remember like both my parents having not at all Irish accents, and me and my brother running around with like very strong Cork accents, and I feel like everyone was like, huh? Like, what's the tea? But that's what we've been yapping about. But yeah, if anyone does need to raid and fade, please definitely do so. Take care of yourselves. Get a drink, a snack, just have a little bit of a break. Get up and stretch if you're able to do so, all of that good stuff. And I hope you enjoy your time here. We are also trying to decide whether or not... So basically I bought these little cross-stitch kits. And once they arrived, I realised that I should have looked at the listing better, because these are 4-leaf clovers and these aren't shamrocks, which isn't anything to do with St. Patrick's Day. But I think the pattern is still cute, so I think we're just going to do it and just have to forgive it, basically. There is other ones as well, like there is this rainbow one as well, which is kind of cute. They're all kind of nice, honestly. They're all nice patterns, but I did like the rainbow hat as well, but I think I'm just going to do this one because I picked out all the colours already for it. So I think we're just going to do that, and we're just going to have to accept the fact that it's wrong, basically. But I'm going to flip down now to my co-working setup, which I hope to God is still working. It is, but it's a little bit moved over. There we go, iconic. So this is my little setup. Woohoo, we love to see. So yeah, these come with essentially sticky backs as well, so you can actually like put felt on the back. So we're just going to like, I really like this pattern, okay? And yes, okay, it's not really Irish because of the 4-leaf clovers, but I've already picked out the colors for it and everything. So it comes with a little handy dandy guide for every single one that comes with it, and then it points out all the different colors. And I kind of went with this one as well because this is only 3, um, which I thought was really, really great. The whole thing is written in Comic Sans, which genuinely gives me shudders. We do be vibing. We do be vibing. Yeah, I have the free version, so unfortunately, I can't get rid of it. It's really annoying. It basically says using Droid Cam, but flipped upside down. No, flipped upside down. Yeah, flipped upside down. Basically, what I'm going to do, I think, is probably get the pro version if I end up doing more of this style content, which I think I will be. I will also be doing maybe some short form content on the other platforms as well, potentially. So I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and hopefully get the pro version. I think you can pay monthly per se, so I'm hoping I can maybe use some of my recent Twitch payout or something to go towards that. I'm actually just going to take my medication as well, friends. So if you haven't taken your medication, take your medication. I've had some of my medication. How long did that take you? Oh, I'm sobbing. But yeah, so that's why there's like weird text in the middle of the screen that says something about also please ignore the like random smoothie just will flow across your screen. Maybe I'll put it over here. Because the Phantom no, I can't go. I'll start laughing. I'll start laughing way too much. But yeah, the little kit actually does do it and stuff. Not long. Okay, team. That's valid. But yeah, the little kit came with everything, including these tiny baby scissors, which I can imagine are fully blunt. But I have no fear, I do have a little embroidery snippy for threads and stuff like this. This camera is actually tea, isn't it? Like close up, I'm like, okay. It's because it's the back camera, which is the like best one, I think. I don't know. But yeah, so it comes with a little kit with a threader as well, and then obviously some needles. And this is printed on here like needlepoint, which is quite interesting actually. I quite enjoy. Oh my god, I forgot. Oh my god, sorry. I just had a thought. I was meant to, and I promised I was going to do it as well. How do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? What would it even be in? I'm trying to work out I haven't been in my dashboard in so long. I said I would put a discount for gifted subs, but I forgot how to do it. Wait, hold on, let me cook. Let me cook, wait. Okay, if we put it on for 2 hours, is that... Can I do that? Oh, I hope this works. Start? God, I hope I did it. If I didn't, I'm sorry, but hopefully it's working. If not, I am sorry. I am so sorry if it is not working quite properly. Completely forgot I was meant to, and I literally promised to do it as well. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I was like, I did not. But I suddenly just had that thought in my mind. I've also just realized that my stream deck is like 4 million miles away from my hand. So I'm like, if God forbid I'd ever want to press anything. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone can't see it, refresh. That is not by any means saying please gift subs or anything like that. I promised I would do it, so I'm putting it on. I never really use them, so I'm like, hey, this is kind of an event. But yeah, feel free to ask me anything, honestly, whether it's about literally anything, feel free. I'm just gonna check out the needle situation. It came with like many of them. I think actually are they all the same? They might all be the same, and then in which we don't have to make any choice. You know what? I actually think they might be the exact same needle over and over. They do seem a little bit thick though. I feel like that is hard to tell on camera, but they do seem a little bit thick. So I'm a bit tempted to potentially. I mean, these holes are quite thick actually. Now they'll be fine. I'm sure the person making the kit hasn't committed any other hate crimes than the 4-leaf clover situation. I'm sure. I am sure, right? Let's just go with this one. We don't need this many of them. I'll put them in this bag actually because I don't want them all over the floor. I feel like that's an accident waiting to happen. We do not love. And I don't use a threader either. Fun fact, I don't actually know how to use a threader, to be honest. Which I know maybe is kind of silly for some people, I know, but I've just never known how to do it. Like it's just never been on my radar as to like what tea is, you know what I mean? It's just never been on the radar. So I just genuinely don't know how to do it. Which is kind of silly, but I just thread it the good old fashioned way of just I mean, I guess just licking it a little bit with my tongue and then putting it through. I guess if it was being really difficult, you know, then obviously valid. But I guess it really depends on what the tea is. Um, very much depends what the tea is. Sorry, I was just going to change the sub goal and refresh it. Actually, I don't know how to do that. Never mind, I can't remember how to do it. Lol. We're leaving it as is. We're leaving it as is. Chat, it's fine. I did. I had a very, very thick Cork accent, incredibly thick. If no one's heard the Cork accent, I'd give that a Google. It is an incredibly thick accent. No one could understand anything I was saying when I moved to the UK. I think we're going to start with this border because that makes sense. Which is this like gold. It's, well, we say gold, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's kind of gold. It's kind of tea because when it didn't tell me how many threads I need for each one. Hold on. Presuming it's not the whole thing. When you start, no, I'm wondering because usually it says like, oh, use 3 threads or something. I'm not actually sure. This said, please don't wash the fabric. Was not planning. It can't be the whole thing because that would be way too thick to get through the hole. So I'm thinking maybe 3. I'm thinking 3. So basically, it comes like this, and then you can split it essentially. This is like the embroidery like floss, and then you can split it into pieces. So I think I'm gonna split it into 3 because it seems like this would. I mean, to be honest, maybe this is why that thing is so thick. But I think this is tea. Usually they come with 6. Yeah, they have 6. So I think I'm just going to do 3 and we'll do a couple of stitches. And if it's wrong, I'm like, okay, T, maybe we'll have to do more. But I will split it into 3 because it just seems, it doesn't seem that they'd want to use the whole thread. I never have used the whole thread for anything like this, but it hasn't got anything in the instructions. But as I said, the instructions are in Comic Sans, so how much do I trust the instructions? Not lots. Not lots, I don't think. Not lots, I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, which I'm just going to be yapping and doing this because I feel like there's a lot to catch people up on, and I also at the moment are going through a vibe in which I do not I don't really listen to much music. It really distracts me, I think, and not in the best way, I think. If that makes sense. So I feel like it's a little bit meh for me. That might change in the future though and stuff, but I hope it's okay. We're just yapping and stuff. I think honestly, like my parents have never really influenced my accent. It really depends where we live. Because my dad's from the north of England and my mum's from the south, and then me and my brother have kind of like more of a like a neutral accent where people can't really place us, you know, as to where we're living and stuff. But it was definitely different at university because like I think when you go to different places, like your accent assimilates and like changes and stuff. So it's like when I was living in Edinburgh for a year, most of my friends were Scottish. I didn't have a lot of friends that weren't Scottish. So your accent kind of assimilates to that. So in which you'd find yourself maybe using a lot more slang for the area and stuff like that. And like my parents would notice it whenever I came back home. We're gonna like start up here. Start up here. I think. I'm hoping this is fine. Now, some people embroider actually no, maybe it make more sense to start here. People embroider differently. So on the thing it's like you should go over and like cross each way and then come back. And I don't like doing that. Don't know why. But I just never have. I think 3 is gonna be okay. I was worried the holes would be too big, but I think it's gonna be okay. Because this material is quite coarse, but it does say that you can technically wash this afterwards and the pattern will come off. But I don't imagine I'll be doing that, to be honest. I think this will cover the pattern mostly, but I've seen a lot of people on TikTok because needlepoint is a thing. Quite often I think in the US it seems more common, I don't know. But needlepoint is just essentially what I'm doing. This is cross stitch. There's also like embroidery and stuff. But needlepoint always comes with a print on this, if that makes sense. You know what I mean and stuff. It's vibes and stuff. Hi, Ali, welcome in, welcome in. Yes, the Irish accent is quite like my parents definitely had a twang. My parents 100% had a bit of a twang to them when having because they lived there before they had like they didn't you know come over and then have me and my brother straight away. They'd lived there for a little while beforehand and stuff like that. But it's like my brother like my accent was fully Irish from day dot. Like I never picked up any of the English accent from my parents at all. but obviously it's like all of my school friends were Irish. Um, most of them, you know, full Irish, been born and raised there and stuff. But it's like I was born and raised there as well. So it's like, you know, I was born into the Irish culture and I was raised in the Irish culture and stuff like that. So I was, you know, I was an Irish dancer. Um, yeah, the Cork accent is a strong accent. It really is a strong accent. Like other accents, I would say like the Dublin accent. I mean, there's so many different. Obviously, there's so many different accents, but a lot of people may be slightly more familiar with things like the Dublin accent. I would say it's a lot more soft. The Cork accent is quite thick, and quite fast as well. I can't do one anymore. A lot of people ask me that, and I'm like, I can't do it any longer. I'm like, I can't speak in that accent any longer. Unfortunately, I did lose it because we moved to the UK, England specifically, um, at a certain age, and then obviously since then, you know, I think a lot of it had to do with like obviously I went to school and nobody could understand my Cork accent, so I kind of was. I don't know if bully is the right word, but people were not super kind about it because they couldn't understand me. And everyone there was basically from that town. And then there was me, just vibing, you know? So I think like there was definitely like an element of like my accent changed faster because almost like it was kind of like assimilating to school and kind of trying to fit in more and stuff, if that makes sense. So I feel like I picked it up more. And again, because it went from being surrounded by majority Irish people to being surrounded by like pretty much everyone was English around. No one else had any other different accents and stuff. So I feel like me and my brother both lost our accent maybe quite quickly. It did take quite a while, and we visited Ireland again when I was maybe about 13, and the accent like came flooding back, which was like super weird for me because the accent just came like fully, like not fully back, but it came back super strong because you know, we were around people that were obviously like, you know, we went back, you know, there and stuff like that. I feel like some people it's weird, like certain words and stuff I feel like are more likely. And the thing is it's like I was educated, believe it or not, in English and Irish. You know, our school was quite strict about that. Now I feel like a lot of sorry, this is not going through. I feel like a lot of the kids at school, their parents were Irish speakers. Not all the time, but they were Irish speakers, right? And I feel like then their kids had picked up it a bit more, obviously. But since my parents weren't, they were English, they didn't have any Irish, you know? So therefore I was just learning it at school. But like again, our teacher was so mean. Like it was like our teacher was so mean, and I've lost all of it now, which is really sad. And I want to try and get some of it back. But I'm really bad at like relearning languages. Again, I think it is an ADHD thing. Like I really struggle with being able to sit down and go for that and stuff. Like my foray into trying to learn Dutch was like horrendous because I'm like sometimes I can barely remember my own native language and stuff. And it's like, you know, I was never an Irish native speaker because, you know, the area I lived in, it was predominantly English, and you know, it's, you know, Gaelic was taught in schools and stuff, you know, but again, I feel it wasn't the whole time, and it was very specific things. Like we had math books that were all in Irish, right? So we had to do our maths in Irish, and they were workbooks and stuff like that to like learn different things. But again, now it's all gone. But that's because I think like again, it was, you know, it wasn't oh, sobbing actually real. I feel like trying to read Irish and being dyslexic would be genuinely a nightmare. Like I'm not dyslexic, um, but I think just reading it in general is actually a bit of a crime. Like I feel like a lot of it. See, a lot of the stuff that we did was not spoken. So a lot of it was workbook based, right? So we did workbooks about maths and different subjects, and it was completely in Irish, right? Whole thing, no English at all. Same with like writing things on the board and stuff. We kept that all to Irish. If you wanted the toilet or you wanted to ask a question to the teacher, you must say it in Irish, which led to a few children not making it to the bathroom in time because they couldn't remember the full sentence. Because again, we were quite young at that point, you know. But other teachings was done in English, so I feel like most of what we did was written down, and I feel like that's not conducive to learning a language if it's only written down, you know, and not being said out loud. And I think that's why, like, I and probably others just were not were not getting it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's not like everyone spoke, you know, Irish outside of school. Nobody did in the area that I was from. Absolutely no one did. So it was kind of just, you know, different, I suppose. And it's like it's something I'd like to get back, but it's I think it's always been complex for me because again, I have no Irish descent, okay, as far as I know anyway. Um I haven't got Irish descent, you know. So I was born in Ireland. Um I was born in Ireland at a time where being born in Ireland meant you were a national citizen. So although I have dual nationality because I had to get a British passport, my British passport has expired many years ago and I haven't used it since. Like I travel on my Irish passport, and that's that, you know. Like, but I feel like the identity of being Irish, like I've had some people be like, "You're not Irish because you don't have an accent, you don't have descent," and I feel like that just means I'm not ethnically. I can't speak today. I'm not ethnically Irish, you know. I haven't got Irish blood in my veins per se, right? You know, because I don't have Irish descendants and stuff like that. You know, I don't have, you know, Irish you know, heritage and stuff like that. Because obviously it's like, you know, for getting an Irish passport, for example, there is certain rules that even if you are not born in Ireland, if you have heritage up to a certain point, obviously, they're not talking about like fifth great grandfather removed or some bullshit. But do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you'd still be considered and be allowed to have an Irish passport. You know, and for me it's like, well, I don't it's difficult, you know? And it's like, Ali, it means a lot for you to say that because it's like a lot of people do not. Like a lot of Irish people have been like, you know, I've met before and they're like, oh, you know, we're chatting or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I was born in Ireland, like this. And I say, where, you know, where from and stuff like that. And they're just like, oh, but you're English. And I'm like, technically, I'm English, I guess, by what is that? Like I have English heritage, right? I have English and Scottish heritage. So technically I'm English and Scottish in terms of like ancestry, right? Um, but I am nationally Irish because I was born there and I'm a full citizen to the country, you know? Because I feel like it's been like I've had conversations with people before and it's like say if you move somewhere, right? Say it's an English person just because, you know, just for the example. Say if an English person moves to a different country, say Spain or something, right? You know, and they live there for X amount of years and they reach the point, um, you know, and it's like you'd get the Spanish passport, say, I don't know what the rules are in Spain, I'm just thinking of countries randomly. You'd get there and once you get the passport and you know, I think you have the option of like renouncing your I don't know how it works honestly, because obviously for me it was different. I was born, so it was different. But like if someone has a Spanish passport and they live in Spain, like I would consider them Spanish because they live there. They live there, maybe work there, maybe have a family there, blah blah blah. Like I would consider them Spanish, but some people would never ever get over the fact that they're English, if that makes sense. I think, yeah, honestly, Ali, like a lot of it is cultural because obviously like the UK have done some pretty horrendous things, especially the English. I'm not gonna lump in everyone together because it's not fair, it's the fucking English, let's be real. Have done some awful things to Ireland, which is so hurtful to, you know, just the country, the people, everything. And I hate the fact that I am seen as English because I'm like I don't really identify as English, if that makes sense. Like I was born and raised in the Irish culture. Again, like it was fully ingrained, you know, was taught partially in Irish and stuff, took part in all the traditions, was an Irish dancer, took part in the St. Patrick's Day parades, like, you know, everything was very much ingrained, you know what I mean? And it just was, you know, listen to Irish music. Like it was just, you know, you just like as a child, I like I was fully just like nobody would have any idea unless my parent, you know, spoke and they were like, oh, you don't have an accent. They would assume that I was Irish because like you just would, you know. And for a long time I was like, I am Irish. And then at one point I was like, I felt like I wasn't allowed to be or something. So I'm kind of trying to like reclaim it now because I'm like, I was born and raised there. You know, it's not like I think people act like I was born there and I left like literally instantly. It's like no. You know, like it wasn't like I was born there, and then as soon as I was born, my parents moved back. It was like, no, I like lived there and stuff. I lived there, had friends there, very much just, like just like anybody else did, just like all my friends did when I was, at school and stuff, it was just the same really. Like none of my school friends saw me any different because like I wasn't. But I think it is a difficult thing because it's like, national identity and pride is a massive important thing. And it's like I don't like being English because I don't think the English have done pretty much anything good to anybody ever really. So therefore I'm like, I don't really want to be English. And realistically, I'm kind of not. Nowhere do I have an English passport because I don't exist. So it's like, you know, so it's like it's a very difficult thing because it's like, I know if I went back to the if I went back to Ireland, like, today, I bet of only being a few days there, I feel the accent coming straight back. Do you know what I mean? It's like I have like a longing for Ireland, like I want to go back. I just can't really afford to right now. But I want to go back and visit and just kind of like immerse myself back into things again because it does still feel like my true home. Like, I have, friends here and stuff or whatever, but like it still just feels like my true home because that's like that's where I was born. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a part of me. So regardless of my accent and stuff, but I think the accent is the more catching thing. They hear an English accent and as any Irish person should and would, they go, ew, because I'm like valid. And I'm like, yeah, like valid. I would also react absolutely the same. Do you know? I'm like, sobbing. I will let them know that Ali of the Valley it has endorsed me. I will like let them personally know, being like, listen, 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 I've been endorsed, okay? I think it's mixed because a lot of people are like, I think there's been such a difficult culture as well of people claiming to be Irish and they're very distantly Irish, as in ancestry, right? And I don't personally have a problem with someone who is Irish all the way back in like the 1600s or whatever. Their family was Irish and that's how they started out. Maybe they moved to say America or wherever and stuff, or further wherever they may have moved to and stuff. Like I don't really have a problem with people saying because it's like, well, yeah, like that's where they started. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. I'll be like, listen, listen, listen. Ali is coming for you. Like, if you say anything mean. Thank you so much for the follow, sweet friend. I appreciate it. We've got them on anonymous just so nobody feels any pressure, but thank you all the same. I really, really appreciate it so much. When I said I can thread needles, just genuinely having issues. I hope this is okay, not too zoomed out, by the way. I think you can tell where I've been stitching, but again, if I need to zoom in, like definitely tell me. Um, I I feel like although I have done a couple of these type of streams, I still feel like I'm kind of getting used to it. Like, I don't know, it's kind of odd. Like you know, just kind of getting back into things really. If I go fully quiet, it's because I'm trying to sip my smoothie through a miniature straw, and it's quite thick. I make it with Greek yogurt, strawberries, banana, and some honey. My mum got a smoothie machine for me, which is very nice. And we vibe in. But yeah, like I really love this pattern. I don't love the fact that it's not a shamrock, but again, I'd already bought the kits and online I didn't like scroll through all the designs. I think I saw the one with the rainbow and I was like, oh, they look cool. And I was like, I like how it's a bookmark. I was like, oh, I like that. I don't read, so this is just going to be going on my wall. But I just liked the conciseness of it, you know what I mean? Like I love a concise project. I've got a couple in my drawer, probably we'll do them together as well, like a little like the little kits you get from something like Hobbycraft or something like that, like where you get, a kit and it's just got everything you need in it. And although I do kind of download patterns and buy patterns from like small artists and stuff and kind of do it myself and get the thread myself, it's often really lovely to have like a little kit, like a concise little kit that you just got all the little bits and bobs that you might need. All the colors are already sorted out for you, and again, like we're gonna have stacks of this left I think by the end, so this is kind of great because I'll have access to colors that otherwise I wouldn't have had, so I'm kind of really happy about that as well. I've just got up the next bit here. But yeah, so I think it's a really nice pattern. I think it's a really nice pattern. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I think like there has been like a bit of a culture of, I think unfortunately in the media it's been mainly Americans it seems, but I guess maybe other people who have been, you know, kind of, I guess, claiming ownership of being Irish and stuff, but, you know, have no actual real connection to the country or really that much interest in the country. And I think that's the shame because it's like, you know, St. Patrick's Day, I think, is difficult as well, right? So, because when I was younger, like, you know, and lived in Ireland, right? St. Patrick's Day was a big thing. Okay. It's a humongous national holiday. Okay. So I was in the St. Patrick's Day parade because I was an Irish dancer. So I was part of an Irish dancing group, and sadly I was one of the younger ones, so I wasn't allowed to dance on the street. I had to be on like the truck, but I still got dressed up. My mum got me this gorgeous, what actually turned out to be a freaking like wedding dress from a charity shop. We covered it in shamrocks and the Irish flag, and it was so so cool. And like it was a massive holiday. Like the prep was massive because it culturally, again, it was like a celebration of all things Irish, right? And it's like, although it is still like that now, it's like it is kind of sad how ridiculously commercialized it is everywhere. Like, was it Chicago that like randomly like dyed the river green? And I was like, maybe calm down. Like, do you know what I mean? Thank you for the follow, sweet friend. I appreciate you so much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you know what? Do what you want, but also like, do we need to be dyeing a river green? Is that the point of it? Or when people get very obsessed with the fact that they're like, yay, we're gonna like go out and drink because it's St. Patrick's Day, and I was like, yeah, like it's a celebratory thing, but like there's actually more to it, you know, or whatever. Like, I don't know, it feels kind of like I hate when anything like that is reduced to something like that, you know, it's kind of just reduced down to something. Or like it's like this novelty, you know, where everyone gets these like silly shirts that are like, you know, kiss me, I'm like Irish or whatever. They're not Irish, you know, and it's like whatever. Um, yeah, honestly real. And I feel like, you know, it's obviously if you're you know, like if you're raised in a culture, you probably will know a little bit more about the national day and like what actually it means or like whatever and stuff. But you know, it is kind of sad to see it reduced to like plastic crap hats, and people just think it's like an excuse to drink loads, and it's like, um, not usually, like not usually. Like yeah, you know, people are going to be having pints of Guinness and stuff because like you know why wouldn't you? In my opinion, Guinness is delicious, so it's valid. It's very nice and refreshing, so it's like it's fair play. But you know, it's sad when anything like that I think gets reduced down, whether it's, you know, an Irish thing or anything really, when it gets reduced to something kind of like trivial, you know what I mean? Because it has like a deeper meaning. And I think like for a long time, like I haven't really felt like connected to anything with a deeper meaning because, you know, although I was Irish, I've been living in the UK and, you know, I feel like the English don't have a lot of deep we do have some deep rooted traditions, but not loads, right? And I just always felt like I wasn't really connected to anything. So I've just of late been really trying to connect a bit more back with being Irish and being from Ireland and, you know, kind of celebrating that and being proud of that, regardless of an accent or not, you know, and stuff like that. Been trying to get a lot more into just being like openly being like, yeah, I am Irish, okay? Like regardless if I have an accent or not, like, you know, um that you know, that doesn't mean anything. Is it unfortunate that I now have like you know, I'm like crying. And I was like, this weekend, yeah. And I'm like, it's Tuesday, yeah, exactly real. And I'm like, it's just like at university, like when I was at uni, like, you know, St. Patrick's Day was just turned into like obviously a massive drinking fest. Everyone was like, let's go out drinking or whatever. And it's like, I had a friend who was actually from Ireland and I was going to join them at an event. They were having like a traditional Irish event they'd set up. I can't remember what the society was called actually. It was, God, what was it? But it was just basically a group of Irish people or people who appreciated Irish culture as well, because like, you know, vibes. And I feel sad that I didn't go because of my accent. She encouraged me to come with her. Um, a lovely girl, Siobhan. And I went to university with her. She encouraged me. She offered, you know, she asked for me to go, and I was like, oh, you know, at first I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go. And then the more it came towards it, I felt like I was just going to be a stranger there. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, I don't have an Irish accent, and for the longest time, I attributed having an Irish accent to being Irish, and that was like it and stuff, you know. But I think it's just different, really. You know, like it's something I'm kind of getting over now and stuff, and I'm just being like, this is who I am, and it's like, you know, I appreciate Irish culture, and I loved growing up there. Like I loved growing up there, had so many great experiences there, and you know, I always will have an affinity for Ireland, like always, because it is where I am technically from. Like I was I was born there, you know. I think it helps my name is Flynn, honestly, to be honest. I think that I think it gives me kudos, or whatever and stuff. But yeah, I kind of feel sad that I didn't go to that event. But now I'm like, I would feel more confident to be like, you know, whatever, because it's like, you know, an accent isn't everything. Because I think like, well, say if someone moved from somewhere, wherever it may be, I can't think of a place. I'm trying to think of a place. I don't know, like India or somewhere, you know. And say they moved to, you know, I'll use the UK as an example just because I live here, right? You know, if they move here and they lose their accent eventually from their home country, like they would still describe themselves as Indian, you know. And I think for me it's always just been like, as you said, Ali, it's about that whole UK thing, UK and Ireland thing, right? You know, they have a very, very bad history together and stuff, you know. And I think therefore the extra stigmatism, you know, if I say was living in Scotland now and had developed a Scottish accent, I think I would feel super easy and confident being like, oh, I'm Irish actually, you know, but I have a Scottish accent now. You know what I mean? I think it is definitely like difficult because it's like, I think just being English in general and having an English accent anyway, um, is is not difficult, but it's like, as I said at the beginning, I think England hasn't done a lot of good stuff, you know, the British Empire and stuff. Like, yes, technically that was like technically the whole of the UK. But realistically, it was mainly the central government has always very much been English focused. So realistically, let's be real, it's the English that was the issue, right? Like, so it's like, you know, there's a lot of icky stuff that I don't like, and it makes you not really proud of like where you live. And for me, it's always just been where I live because I'm like, it's not where I'm from, you know? It's like, you know, my parents are from here, and my parents' parents and parents' ancestors are English, and then at one point on my dad's side, they are Scottish. So which is really cool. So it's like, you know, I do have English blood, and I am, you know, to an extent from the area that I live in now. You know, my dad's family are very much from here, going back to a certain point, you know, and then obviously it changes and stuff like that. You know, blah 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 and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like nobody who is English doesn't. It's like it's just like it's just difficult because I think England has had such a terrible past of just being shit to other people. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's the thing because it's like it is. I feel like a lot of people in the UK have an affinity for Ireland and really feel horrendously for everything that's happened, right? And also like feel horrendously for just the British Empire and how the British Empire has been, you know, in general as well, like taking over whatever country they feel like, you know, blah blah blah, all of this crap. Like, I would say, and I hope most people are ashamed of that. I can't speak for reform voters because they seem like the absolute scum of the earth, but we move. I would say that hopefully the majority of people feel bad about shit because it's like, well, why wouldn't you, you know? And it is people of the past that we have no fucking connection to now, thankfully. Like, yes, their descendants probably live among us and stuff, but they probably don't even know they're descended from those people anyway, you know? So it's like, it is a very, I think, a difficult thing, you know? But I'm kind of getting there with just kind of not really even like reclaiming, because it's never like I wasn't Irish for a bit. I also have doubled up here. Hold on. Oh, I think I've actually sewn in the back. Hold on. I was like, this one's really thick. And I'm like, I think it's cause. Oh, I'm going to have to. How am I going to actually. Basically, the back. Oh, there it is. The back piece went into it. And I was like, hold on. I was like, those are feeling not right. Hold on. Have I solved it? I think so. It's just there we go. Yeah, so it's meant to be like loose like this, but it doubled up somehow. So I'm just going to make sure it doesn't do that again by making this shorter. Because I'm like, I was just like happily just like going away at it, and then I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this doesn't feel right. But now I think we're now back on track. I think we are now back on track. But yeah, so I'm enjoying like reconnecting with what I view as my culture because it is my culture, you know, and stuff. And it's like, you know, it's slowly happening. And I will get back to Ireland. Like, I can see myself living there again one day. But at the moment, you know, I'm not kind of stable enough to obviously be financially, mentally, physically, or anything stable. um, to like move out and live on my own and stuff, but it's something I could see in the future. Or Scotland. I would move to Scotland again. Jesus, that scared me so much. That scared me. Thank you so much, Mez. I appreciate it so much. Good God, my heart rate there for a second just absolutely shot up. I'll put this on this page. Also, do you like this? This is a bullet journal page I made my first day on ADHD medication. We went on a little walk. I had lots of Mauam stripes and some flavoured water. Hence why there's this. I also had fake bacon and eggs for it. So I did my like first day on ADHD medication. Hello, Mess. Right, let's get you one. Which should we get you? Let's get you the one with the pot of gold. Actually, there's multiple ones of pot of gold. Oh, these patterns are just duplicates. I have not even... That's why they're upside down. I'm crying. We'll get you this one. We've got a little pot of gold, a horseshoe, also fuck all to do with, but whatever. It's lucky, I think. Listen, whoever made these stickers also didn't really... This is why I should really read descriptions better, but I was like, oh, they'll do. They seem cool. And then I was like, oh, I think hate crimes have been committed, actually. But too late. Too late. Right, let's write you down, Mez. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for popping in. We are doing some St. Patrick's Day yappers. And also some cross stitch. Jesus. My brain's all over. How are you doing, lovely? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Guys, I've been actually terrible at shout-outs today. I've literally forgotten how to do it. Like, I actually don't... Oh, what's happened? Why is that completely dark? Hold on. I think maybe it was inactive for too long. Hold on. Just gonna try and unlock my phone. Is that not... Hold on. Oh my god, this is really hard. My phone is like at such a weird angle. So I'm just gonna try and... There we go. Right, let's reopen Droid Cam. Yeah, continue to app, thank you. Hey, there we go. It's gone on the wrong camera, but that's fine. We'll put it on the back one. There we go. I think it was inactive for a little bit and stuff. Yeah, honestly, I'm like, I know, I'm just not very good at like this. I looked at the other patterns and I didn't even see this one. I saw it from afar, like really, like it was really zoomed out on the listing. And I was like, cute. And then I got it and I was like, this is a 4-leaf clover. This is not a shamrock like I thought. I was like, oh, okay. That's not what I thought, but I was like, the pattern is still pretty. We do have these other ones as well. Some hate crimes are being also committed because, like, tell me why this isn't Guinness. Like, they put beer at this end of the rainbow and not Guinness. Like, hate crime in my eyes. But I think the rest of them are kind of okay. This one's a little bit dubious because it, again, just has a horseshoe. But they really are just playing into luck of the Irish there. And I think we'll have to allow it. But I hope you're good, Raven. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it so much. And Mez, again, thank you so much for the resub. Honestly, it means so much to me. And also thank you so much, everyone, for putting up with the ads. We are running 6 minutes of ads today per hour instead of our usual 3, which is like the minimum. Just do what you want. Just shout at anyone. Do yourself. Oh, honestly, it happens. It happens. Because again, like your eyes just scan, right? Like your eyes just like naturally kind of like, you know, naturally scan. So it's very, very easy and stuff to just like tap and press something. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, like it's happened to us all. It's happened to us all for real, for real. But yeah, again, sorry. Thank you so much for sitting through the more ads. I've been trying to, as you can see at the top, I've been trying to raise funds for private ADHD coaching, and I actually made my first payout of the entire year about a week ago. I think I got it or something. So I put that towards that, and that's why the bar's like loaded now. So thank you so much to everyone who sits through the ads or subs or anything like that, because I really, really appreciate it so much. It's really helping me. I'm hoping to be able to pay for a ADHD like support app through the clinic that I'm with my medication. But it's really expensive. It's like $250 a year to get the app, or maybe just a little bit less than that. And then anything left over and stuff is gonna go towards like ADHD coaching, which is also like diabolically expensive. but I think it's something I would benefit from because although the medication helped me for about 5 days and now it hasn't done anything, and I'm about to increase my dose tomorrow, very excitingly. I think it's like I think getting coaching would be so useful, I think, because it's like I'm not coping well with being a human. I also am going to be assessed for autism quite soon. Within hopefully they quoted within the next 3 months, so we'll see. Oh my god, Raven, that's amazing. Good luck with it. I really hope it goes well. If you ever need to chit chat or anything like that, you know where I am. Always up for a yip yap. We love to see it. Honestly, me too. I'm like, my therapist, my doctor, and my parents think I'm probably autistic. And I do also think I potentially could be autistic as well. I don't know. I have a lot of traits, and upon filling in the pre-assessment questionnaire formies and stuff, I was like, oh, more things were like light bulb moment, you know? So I don't know really, but I'm just not really coping with being a human being very well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm very grateful and glad that I've been able to, um, you know, I've been able to raise some funds through Twitch, even though I haven't been streaming very much. So I honestly appreciate it all so much because I really haven't been streaming that much. And, you know, I've been making a little bit of money through other platforms like TikTok and stuff, which has been really useful as well. But it's like other source of funding through, for example, like my online business and stuff, like has just completely I just haven't been able to make new products, and like my website views are like 0 at the moment. I don't really advertise it very much either because I'm just not able to make new products and stuff right now, but maybe eventually. But it's what I can do to make some money for myself as well as Twitch and things, and it's what, you know, it's nice to be able to like, you know, make money more passively as well without having to like ask, you know, and stuff. So, you know, people just watching ads like straight up just help, you know, because that makes me a little bit of income, and I've just been running the ads a little bit higher than usual just so I can maybe make a little bit tiny bit extra and hit those thresholds so I can get the payouts when they come and stuff, you know, and stuff. But we love to see it and stuff. Oh, that's really good that you managed to get in. I know there's been a lot going on. I know there's been like so much horrible stuff and things. Um yeah. It's like there's a lot of traits that make sense to me, and I have always had different problems that doctors have always just put down to me being anxious, but treating the anxiety has absolutely never helped any of the issues that I've been having. I'm just going to cut some more thread. And therefore I'm like I mean regardless if I'm autistic or not, an assessment will provide an answer yes or no. So if I'm not, I know that, okay, well, that's fine. I probably have a lot of autistic traits, but I'm not at a threshold where I would be considered autistic, you know? I am really stressed out about the assessment because it's like a two-parter, which is scary. So I have to travel to an in-person clinic at one point and also do an online assessment. And I think my main stress was the exact same one I have for my ADHD one, which a lot of people will relate to if you have one coming up or you've maybe had one before, where you think, have I made this entire thing up? And have I just somehow managed to lie my way to this point, and now I'm going to be in the assessment, my entire lie will be exposed. And then you get into the assessment and you just answer honestly and you'll get an answer, you know, and stuff. But like, I still convince myself that I've made everything up. And I'm like, this time last year, I didn't even know I had ADHD. And now I have been diagnosed for nearly a year now, and I'm on medication that I'm really hoping that will help me. And now I'm on like this time last year, like I wasn't on a list for autism or anything like that. I'm like, so much has changed since last year when I was basically just being medicated for my anxiety, which I still am. But now I'm understanding so much more of my problems are sensory issues and overload and overwhelm and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, yeah, well, no wonder anti anxiety medications aren't fully helping me. They help to manage my symptoms, but some of these things are literally just like a part of me and stuff. So I think it's just been a big journey of discovery, to be honest. Like, you know, it's so much has changed since this time last year. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, honestly, real, because the thing, I have OCD too. And I feel like a lot of traits, a lot of ADHD traits and autistic traits too, either line up with OCD very, very, very similar in certain ways, or again, they are just playing off each other. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like they play off each other in such a huge way, and it makes it hard, I guess, to identify what's going on. And it's like also things are very comorbid as well. Like apparently, if you have OCD, you're way more likely to be also neurodivergent. You know, like ADHD. You know, and stuff like that. There's all these different inner workings, right? And it's like whoa. And it's like my OCD, I have contamination OCD and checking OCD. But then there's some ones that don't fit into any of that shit because they're like, why are you scared of doing these certain things? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, there has to be a reason. And I'm like, I don't know. And then the more that went on, my therapist was like, I don't think that fully all of this is OCD. I do actually think there's something else going on. And hey ho, he was freaking right. So we love to see it. But very grateful to that therapist for even pointing anything out to me. I feel like I walked in there and just like said a wall of words to him and lots of things. And before he said anything, he was like, "Are you being assessed for ADHD?" And I was like taken aback and I was like, no. And he was like, "We're getting you assessed." And I was like, right, okay. But I guess it gave me some validation that something else was going on, I suppose, you know? But it was like, whoa, you know? I swear I can thread this. It's gone fuzzy. I'm gonna snip it so it's a clean break because it's gone all fuzzy and it's just gone wrong. Also, crying at how little I've got done, but we move. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally chill. It's totally chill. But yeah, so if anyone has any questions about ADHD or ADHD meds and stuff, very happy to answer. Very early on in my meds journey though. But very happy to answer and stuff like that about it and stuff, you know. Oh my god, I can thread things. I'm not actually sure why this one's being so finicky. Oh, here we go. Listen. We're popping off. Exactly, this is the thing. It's like when I got diagnosed with ADHD, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought like there'd be support. And then I got diagnosed and they were almost like, live, laugh, love. Bye. And I was like, okay. And then I was left on a list for ages for medication. Then turns out my clinic got shut down, blah, blah, blah. Whole separate story. And, you know, I found a lot on like, everyone has different opinions on Reddit. But I think Reddit's fine as long as you're safe on there and stuff and kind of like take everything with a pinch of salt. But I've found like ADHD communities on there and stuff that have been so validating because I just do not feel like an alien that's been plopped on this earth now. I mean, I still do, but like I feel like at least I was plopped down with all these other aliens, if that makes sense. Like I these things that I thought were a fully original experience to me turns out they're not. And I was like, am I just what's wrong? You know, why do I feel like this and stuff? And I'm like, I'm finding out so much more that like it's not a unique experience, you know, and stuff like, which is honestly useful because it's like I've always tried to explain myself as well as I can to doctors, but some doctors I've been to just roll their eyes at you and say you're anxious. And I'm like, yes, I know. Thank you, Sherlock Holmes. But I'm anxious, but there's all this other shit going away and stuff. You know, like, and they're like, you just have anxiety. Have you at all considered having a bath? Like, and I'm like sobbing. Yeah, I think as long like I've just found some places that are again more specific for, you know, different, you know, chronic illness pages or ADHD or like people who are like I think there's like different subreddits and stuff that are specific to people waiting for autism diagnosis to discuss it, ones that are specific to different countries that you're in and stuff, like all of this good stuff, you know. So it's like, you know, it's been good for me personally to just find more people. Like I know a lot of freaking neurodivergent people through streaming, okay? Like, you know, a lot. And I would say I'm pretty confident almost all of my streaming friends that I've made through streaming are all neurodivergent, diagnosed or not. And I think that's why I click with them all, you know? And I think a lot of people will relate to that it is really hard to be friends with I think it's very difficult to connect to a neurotypical person because they simply will never understand, you know, and stuff. Exactly, right? You just kind of like left and you just kind of like, what's the journey here? You know, like that's definitely what I experienced because they were like, here's the report. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed with combined type. And they were like, we'll get in touch about medication. They never did, lol. And then I was like, and what happens a lot of the time that people don't speak about, but apparently it's very common, is that your symptoms kind of regress quite a lot. Like after you finally get that validation, you kind of finally have that breath where you can just go, right, okay, so I was right. Something else was going on, and it's been diagnosed now. Slay, slay, slay. But then your symptoms kind of do often like regress a bit, because I think like you start to kind of unmask naturally anyway once you have a diagnosis, because you can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. And I felt like my symptoms just got worse and worse after my diagnosis, because again, I think I was slowly like starting to unmask a bit more and stuff and be fully myself and not hide bits of myself. And now I had an answer to the certain things that I felt or did or stuff and whatever and things. Thank you so much for the follow, sweet friend. I've genuinely no idea why the noise didn't happen, but we move. I've taken off all my channel sound alerts because they're a bit overstimulating for me, but also like they break all the time and I just genuinely want to cry. So like I was like, while we are still getting back into things, I'm just going to turn them all off, because they break all the time anyway. So we'll fix them eventually, but we vibing, not right now. But yeah, so I think it is difficult because you just kind of get like left, and again, sometimes your symptoms can regress and you can find yourself feeling very like, wow. I definitely have found a lot of peace talking to people who've also felt similar, or who've also been, diagnosed and then been like, what's the tea? And especially through my medication journey as well, speaking to other people who are on the same medication as me or tried that medication before, that's been very affirming, because I'm like, hey, is this normal? like, hey, so this is happening. Is that like, did you feel that? How did you cope with this? And because you can look all you want at like side effects and stuff, but when you experience it, sometimes it's really great to hear another human go, oh my god, I experienced that too. Fun hack, you should do this. Or like, the way I tried to cope with it was this. Or like, I distracted myself this way or whatever. And I feel like it connects you more on a human level, And I think, although I'm like shit at socializing right now, like I'm trying to be better. I've made like multiple plans for this week in the attempts to try and get a bit better with socializing, because I used to be better at it, but I think again my skills have kind of regressed quite a lot. And I feel like I'm more comfortable with people I can unmask with fully and just be chill. And it doesn't matter if I'm like awkward silences or like stumble over my words or whatever it is, Um, but I'm trying to get better at like trying to fit in bits and bobs of socializing throughout the week, because it's like, although I'm perfectly happy in my own company a lot of the time, it is nice also to socialize, especially with people who get shit, like, so you can yap and talk about stuff that other people might not get because they maybe haven't gone through something similar. So I feel like that's always good, but I've struggled with that a lot, because I used to feel a lot more social when I was on Twitch more, because I was in other people's chats and talking through that way and stuff. But then I felt like the pressure was on a little bit when it was more transferring to like gaming together or chatting and stuff on VC, and I was like, this is really scary. I don't like. And it's like, to this day, I'm really bad with voice chats, video chats, and stuff like that. Like, it stresses me out. I can't really even pinpoint why. It just really has always had that effect on me. Which is annoying, obviously, but it's something I'm working to feel a bit better about. But I'm also like, with anything, your true friends will totally just get you for you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be like. I used to just force myself to do things, whereas now, as I will tell people if I can't do it or don't want to. Like, I'll be like, hey, I'm just not up to that today. I'm really sorry. Or like, I'm not. They invite me to like play a game or something. And I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. I'm not feeling it. Whether or not I'm feeling like physically or whatever. Thank you so much for the drinky. Everyone make sure you have a drink. I still have my smoothie going. It is kind of wild, because it's like, if you think logically, there's no reason to be anxious, because I'm like, well, with like close friends and stuff that I VC with or whatever, it's like, it doesn't matter if I like trip over my words or I go really quiet or like, whatever. Like, none of that really matters, but like my brain still really like hypes it up to something that it really isn't. And I'm like, okay, brain, how about we just chill out a little bit, huh? Also, everyone make sure you're sipping too. Whatever drink you've got. I think after stream, I'm probably also going to get a Lucozade. I'm drinking a lot more water now because I kind of have to with my medication. Because it gives you dry mouth. The heck. But I have been enjoying having more water and some electrolytes, you know. But I also now drink a fruit smoothie every single day, which is delicious and very, very healthy, which is great. And um, obviously drink water and stuff like that. And I've discovered my love of 7 Up again because it hasn't got any caffeine in it. And I forgot how hard that mother hits. Like 7 Up supremacy, actually. Like I used to, I mean, I still like Fanta. It also doesn't have caffeine in it. Um, but I mean, to be fair, like I don't really drink crazy amounts of like fizzy drinks and stuff. Just like a little bit of Lucozade and then now the 7 Up. But 7 Up is quite literally just like sparkling water, lime and lemon. Is literally all that's in it apparently because I get the sugar-free version. But it just like smacks, like it's just good. Do you know what I mean? It's very refreshing. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. So that's kind of what I'm into. But let me know what people's drinks are. What is your go-to drink? Does anyone have go-to drinks? Like for me, it used to be Lucozade because it's got glucose and caffeine in it. I can have a little bit now, but I think when I increase my medication tomorrow, after that point, I will have to probably just stop that for a little minute. Just while like my body adjusts and I can figure out if I can even have caffeine. I'm only going up to 30 milligrams, which is still quite low. A lot of people start on 30, but I'm really anxious, so I didn't want to and stuff. Of course, you're all good. I hope you enjoy your drawing. Yes, yes, yes. We love yaps. We love yaps. And thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I very enjoyed your conversation a lot. And thank you for validating my Irishness. I very much appreciate it. And yeah, have fun drawing. Have fun drawing. I really need to get back into drawing. I've never been very good at it. So I have given up on it, really. Cherry. Ugh. Cherry's just such a hate crime, honestly. I don't really like any cherry drinks. I just think they're gross. I think it's because there's just like a little bit artificially. Do you know what I mean? It's that thing. It's like that little artificial vibe that I feel like I don't really enjoy. Um, I think that's always been my main problem with it. There we go. I can't. You know what? I actually thought this would go quicker because this was like with a pattern. Because usually, obviously, like sometime when you are cross stitching, a lot of the time you are obviously consulting the pattern back and forth to make sure you've done it correctly. With this one, you don't even have that, which I actually love. Like, I'm actually so excited to finish all of these. I feel like these are like really good 1 day projects where you could just like bash them out in a day and then have like a cute little thing. Which is always a vibe. So I quite like them, and I like for a while I was like, I think I said at the beginning, like a lot of like needlepoint, which I've been seeing is very trendy in the US right now, always has the pattern printed like this. And I was like, oh, does that not take the fun out of it, you know? But I'm like, actually, it's nice to have both because, you know, you're just kind of chilling, right? You're just kind of vibing and you're not thinking about like having to consult a pattern, right? About where you're up to in the pattern because obviously the pattern's just on here in front of you, which is really nice. Because for me, sometimes I get so anxious that I might have miscounted something. I have to count it multiple times. Being a cross stitcher with OCD is absolutely not for the weak. But I love cross stitching so much, and it's such a lovely activity to do. And I think little kits like this will be quite fun actually because having it printed on here just means I'm just doing the actual motion of cross stitching, but not having to worry or have any of that stress and anxiety and stuff like that. But I feel it's a nice vibe. I feel like it's a nice vibe. I feel like it's a good vibe. I definitely want to do more of this type of content on Twitch now because I feel like again, I don't like gaming at the moment for me. I don't do loads of it as much as I used to. Like I do gaming, but I feel like my brain gets quite like bored of it quite quickly at times, and that's where I would struggle. There is some games that I definitely do want to play on Twitch, I think, or I have been thinking about dual streaming, but I just don't think I could actually deal with the overstimulation. So I think they would be saying, "What the fuck have I done? What have I done?" I just pushed that through there, and I was like, "Wait, that's not where I'm going." But there is a few games that I still have that I want to play. I have Hollow Knight that I want to play, and I feel like if I set up a stream for it, it'll mean I'm motivated to do it. You know what I mean? I think that would be quite good. I also have Lake as well. I got gifted, which is a really cute little kind of indie game. very slow paced. I feel like that would be quite nice to integrate as well. There was another game, but I've completely blanked on it. It's like completely blanked. I don't even know. It's just gone completely. So I would still like to do some gaming on Twitch and stuff, but I definitely would probably be leaning quite a lot into doing crafts and stuff like this, you know. It's kind of difficult because it's like sometimes for me, like I'll wake up and, you know, like I will have more motivation than I usually have, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then also sometimes, well, listen, I do need to get back into Dark Souls because I got stuck on the first boss again because I had to delete. So it was my own fault. I had to delete my save and start again because I accidentally got into a fight with a shopkeeper. And unfortunately, the shopkeeper did not make it out of the conversation. And then I was told, don't do that because you'll need the shopkeeper. Because they will actually have useful shit for you in the shops. And I was like, ah. So I was like, advised to start again, so I did. But now I keep getting stuck. I'm stuck on the first monster in Dark Souls, the original remastered. I'm stuck. It's not even a boss. It's just, I feel like it's snowy part of the tutorial. It's just the first main boss that you have to get. Don't ask me the name of it. And you have to like jump on it to get most of its health down, right? And then you fight it. So like most of the time when I jump down, its health does not go down at all. Because I've done it wrong. And at one point I'd done it so many times and had to start over and over and over again. I genuinely started crying and I had to remove myself from the situation. Because I was literally in tears because I was like, I can't understand why I can't do it and why it won't work. So I'm like, lol, like I don't know what's wrong. I genuinely feel like I need to like sit and screen share it with someone and be like, what do I do? I got so stuck. I didn't get as much stuck in. So I also got gifted Elden Ring as well. And I have been playing a little bit of that, mainly just exploring because it's like, I think what I find most difficult about Souls-like games is the mechanism of the fighting, because I feel like it's a very different style than I'm used to, you know? So I feel like you take a lot longer to get a hit in, and there's a lot more room for error if you're not good at that type of thing. So I feel like with a lot of the enemies, like it was just inevitable that I was going to perish because like I felt so slow compared to them, and it was like one of my hits, if I got a hit in, was barely anything on them, and then they hit me once, and it was like KO. That's over. Do you know what I mean? It was like, bye, you're done. And I was like, okay, I don't love that. So it's again, it's like it's a learning curve that I will get back to it. And again, it might be I'm trying to maybe do a couple more Discord streams because I feel like that might also give me a little bit of a I don't know, kind of almost like a body doubling effect, right? Like if I'm playing a game and I'm sharing it in Discord, right? You know, just sharing my screen or whatever, then at least like I don't know, I have motivation to do it because either I've said I'm going to do it or like I'm sharing my screen and maybe a few people are watching it or whatever and stuff. Yeah, I think because of the open worldness of it, like people were just like, you just got to go with the flow of it. And like when I started playing that, I was like, oh, I understand what that means. Like you just have to go with the flow because like literally a fuck all idea where you're going. So I ended up in like this underground basement thing that you go down. It's like a lift down or something. Got down there and was encountered with like the hardest enemies I'd ever seen in my entire existence. And I was like, I don't think this is where I was meant to go. I was like, I don't think this is where I'm meant to go. But it's difficult because it's like sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I could like, you know, do it and then anybody who is a bit more familiar with it can help me. But I do get overwhelmed a little bit when people are like helping me while I'm trying to do stuff, if that makes sense. Like I get all like overwhelmed. So I don't know if I just need to like watch some playthroughs on YouTube or something or whatever and just try and get like a bit of a vibe for that. I really don't know. Um because, you know, that might help at least, you know, understand because obviously I'm like a super beginner at Souls-like games. I have an interest in them and I always have really, but I shied away from them in the past because I was like, I won't be good at this. and then I was kind of like gifted some, and I was like, oh, I want to try now. This will be good. And then I did Dark Souls on stream, and it went relatively okay, but I never managed to get any further than that point. And then that point again, that is when I had to restart the game because I actually took out a shopkeeper, that was very apparently essential. So I was like, oh, okay, lol, lol, lol. And then it regressed obviously all my. I genuinely feel like I might need a mod or something, but I don't know how to mod Elden Ring or Dark Souls. Whether or not you can get a mod that's like makes it easier, because I feel I don't know. I feel like it's difficult as a beginner to get into them. I think, you know. And for me, I find it really difficult to deal with getting something wrong over and over again, and dying and respawning and dying and respawning. Like I feel like I get really, like I struggle with that like so much, right? And obviously that is a natural thing that's going to happen, but still, like I still like struggle with it. I don't know if it's a neurodivergent thing or if it's just a general thing. I don't know, but like I just struggle with that so much, like doing the same thing over and over again and failing over and over again, and then, do you know what I mean? I have used Nexus mods, I think. Nexus mods is the only like mod loader that I think is okay, isn't it? All the rest of them are owned by freaking Overwolf, but I think the rest of them are fine. Okay, I'm just gonna snippy bits there. Actually, this is technically upside down. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's an identical pattern. Oh my god, look how terrible the lighting is now because the sun's come in. Help! Wait, I don't even know how to make them. My thing doesn't go any brighter than that. Sob, that's terrible. Hold on, I'll just have to shut my window. Sobbing. Right, that's better. Okay, that is a lot better. I've just shut my curtains for the meantime. I think we're probably gonna like go until roughly about 3, or maybe once this line's done as well, because I don't want to overdo it, because I know that I can overdo it when I feel. Sometimes stream energizes me, and because I have a big light on here, a big light on there, I know that like I'm probably like really like messing up my eyes. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I said it was gonna be 2.5 hours. No, I didn't. 1.5 hours, Jesus. But I think we're just gonna go until 3, and then I think that'll be a good time to vibe and stuff. That's cute. I think Nexus mod is like the only mod loader. I think Nexus mod is what I use to download a lot of my Stardew mods. Yes, I think so. I think. And then also a couple of peak mods that I have, i.e. allow more players and stuff like that. I think that's all I use for it, actually, but yeah, you can get quite a lot of mods on there. Yeah, I'm like, don't overdo it, because it's like it's weird, because it's like my motivation ebbs and flows. Every day is so different, which is very difficult for me. So it's like I'm hoping with the increase of meds going into tomorrow for the next 2 weeks, I'm hoping that my motivation and just in general will be more stable. Which means I'll be able to like gauge actually what I can do more, because it's like at the moment now I feel semi okay energy wise, but I also know that I'm probably going to shut stream and absolutely crash and probably do nothing else for the rest of the day because I just don't have energy to do it. Like, you know, so it's like it's it's hard when it's not consistent, you know, because I'm like I don't fully know what my motivation will be. Hence why a schedule right now is impossible, because if I schedule something and I wake up and I feel like really, really demotivated and really, really crappy, then I'm like, I just can't, you know? And it's like, everyone's like, you should definitely always have a schedule on Twitch. And I'm like, yeah, but I think I've kind of just accepted that I'm not exactly going to probably grow too much more as a streamer. Like, I think probably I'm kind of where I'm at. So is schedule really that important, really? Like, I can't, you know, I can't adhere to a schedule, really, you know. I can for certain things. Like today I was like, well, you know, this is one day, and I don't know if I really plan on streaming at all the rest of this week. I have not really any other particular plans. I have a couple of like evening plans to play things with friends and stuff, but I can't say for certain that I'll want to stream again this week. It's just so difficult to gauge. It never used to be because it was just like that was the thing I did. Like I streamed. I was a streamer and that was that. So it was like it didn't really matter how I didn't really pay any attention to how I felt before a stream. I was just like, it's the stream day. You are streaming now. You know what I mean? Like it's just time to stream. It didn't matter if it felt crappy. I just did it, and I don't think it was ever good for me really to do that. But it's like now it's like I'm not going to be moving towards towards partner or pushing for partner. Like I'm nowhere near that, and I don't really ever see that for myself. I wouldn't have thought so. So it's not like, you know, I can't be consistent. I can't be consistent because I just don't know what I'm like every single day. I don't know until I get up and stuff, and even then things can change so quickly with my health, you know? Like I can be doing fine and then a wave of fatigue hits me like absolutely out of nowhere, and then I'm like, "Oh my god." you know? And I'm just kind of like, "Whoa." Um yeah, this is the thing. It's like I kind of want to just do it when I want to do it instead of feeling like I have scheduled something so I have to, you know? And it is difficult because it's like, the more consistent you are, like again, Twitch is a great way to support myself a little bit through ads and stuff like that. And obviously being more consistent and streaming more means maybe you can support yourself more and stuff, but I also physically just can't. I just cannot. I think I mentioned it at the beginning, but I have been doing a lot more like short form content. I'll pop a link for my socials if anyone's interested, but especially on TikTok, I've been doing more short form stuff. Whether or not it's doing product reviews, or I've been doing some more like yappy posts talking about ADHD and stuff. I hope to do more of them. And I think for me it's so much easier because it's more short form. I'm not like I can just do a little bit. I'm not constantly doing something for hours upon hours or whatever. Instead it's more so like, just filming like a short little thing or whatever and stuff, and all that good stuff, really. So, it's kind of difficult because it's been so difficult for me to transition away from it being a job because I always hoped it would be. And then I think now I'm like, it's not going to be. It's just kind of like a little side thing. And my life is just basically side things. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, my life is just a few little side hustles that I try my best with to do as best as I can to have fun, support myself at the same time, all this and stuff. So I think realistically it's like, it's difficult because I have rejection sensitivity dysphoria. A lot of neurodivergent people do, and it makes it incredibly hard to just be able to let go of anything, whether it's a specific goal or I don't know, a milestone you want to hit or something. It's so hard to let go of those. Like it is literally so hard, and comparison is so hard when you have RSD because your brain, you don't really have control over it, right? It's not just like people say, oh, you shouldn't compare, and you shouldn't, but RSD makes it so that you physically almost don't have a choice, and it makes it emotional regulation so difficult, and it makes it so hard to like just get past that and stuff. And obviously like streaming with whether you like it or not is so focused around stuff like goals and stuff, and it's like I've tried to remove as much of it as possible. I don't have a follower goal now. I just have like new follows that happen maybe potentially, or daily subs that I might get subs during that day. I don't really have too much. I have a sub. Do I have a sub? I might have a sub goal at the moment, I'm not sure. But it's like I remove as much of it as I can. My view account is off and stuff like this, blah, blah, blah. Ideally, I'd love if we could raid without a view account and stuff as well. Like, I try and remove as much of it as possible simply because my RSD makes it so impossible to survive otherwise. Like, it makes it so difficult because it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's got literally almost nothing to do with actually sometimes your actual feelings about something. It's like a knee-jerk reaction that you just don't really have a lot of control over, and then you're just kind of like along for the ride. And it is such a difficult thing to get through, and it's definitely something I would love help with again with like coaching and stuff potentially. Like I think that'd be really great if I could deal with that a bit better, because that would be great. Like my emotional regulation is not good. Thank you for grabbing your daily fizzy. I appreciate it so much. But yeah, so it's like it makes it nigh on impossible at times to just chill and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna vibe. And you can like promise yourself you're just gonna vibe, and then the next day your brain convinces you that everything is terrible again. You're like, oh, T, that's great. So I think it is just harder than I thought to get past that. You know, I'd always just thought I can do it, I can get past it. But it's still very hard for me to do that, you know. So I try and remove any triggers as much as I can, you know. But it still does get me, and it does for a lot of people as well. A lot of people don't speak about it, but it is a very real thing that probably, you know, affects quite a lot of people, you know. Um, and you know, at least I have a name for it now and an understanding of it. But it still makes things such a pain in the butt because you simply just want to vibe, you know, and have fun, and your brain's like kind of like Gollum being like, likes this, or like this is rubbish or whatever, and you know, just random shit like that, and you're like, oh no, oh no. But we'll get there. It's one of those things that's a part of me, and it probably always will be, but you can kind of manage it and learn to live alongside it and stuff. So that's definitely the hope in the future, to be able to do that and get better at that and be able to emotionally regulate better, because again, it's not super Gucci at the moment. My regulation is very not, you know, patchy at best, I guess, or whatever. Very like patchy. But we move. We're just gonna finish up this little bit here, friends, and then I'll probably come to a close for stream. Um and then we will go and raid out. Again, not gonna raid out every single time, but I'm feeling like I'm okay with raiding today. Again, the problem with raiding, again, for anyone with RSD or just in general, if you struggle with confidence, is you instantly get confronted with the view account that you've had turned off the entire stream, and you're like, but I actually wanted it off, and I would like it to continue to be off. But then obviously when you raid out, you see that, and it's like, it's annoying. I wish that was something you could get rid of. So some days if I'm feeling just a bit wobbly and I just don't feel it, then I won't raid out. Some days I will, some days I won't. Today we're gonna, because it's been a while since we've raided anybody, so I'd love to raid a little friend or something. That would be really fun. We'll see who's on in a minute. But yeah, it won't happen every time. I feel like I do repeat myself every stream about that, but there's sometimes new people in that maybe haven't heard the vibes and stuff, and I know most people do raid, but it's not actually a requirement. You don't need to. You know, I was talking to someone about it once, and they were like, if you just ever don't, if you get to the end of the stream and you're exhausted and you just want to go and you don't really want to raid because you're not really feeling maybe your best, or you just, you know, whatever, like, you don't need an excuse. Just don't raid. That's okay. You don't have to. You can very much just stop your stream. That's how I used to stream when I was first starting out, because I didn't know how to fucking raid. I had no idea how to raid. I was like, what? I didn't know how to do it, so I just was like, bye, and then just turned it off. And like, you were completely within your right to do that. That is totally fine. Like, you know, that is fine. But I do think, like, I personally am letting people know about it, so no one is surprised when they're like, why didn't you raid? And I'm like, wasn't feeling it today. Just not feeling my best. But you know, we're gonna do it today. Right, we're just almost getting to the end of this bit now. Which is gonna align pretty nicely with 3 o'clock, which is great. I was only gonna do until 2:30, but 3 is also doable. And I'm just gonna rest for the rest of the day anyway, so gonna get myself a little bit of Lucozade, I think, fill up my water. Oh, I need to eat at one point. Jesus, I basically, this medication takes away my ability to eat lunch. I have no interest in lunch at all. So I have to force myself to eat. So I'll go and make some cereal or something. So I have to make myself eat because I don't otherwise eat. Yeah, it's like it is quite a commitment, and also it's like you feel as the person who raided, as the streamer, and then it also obviously puts some pressure on the people in chat maybe to stick around and stuff. And it's like, you know, you don't have to raid. There's no requirement that means you have to. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. So you know, that's fine. Because again, it's like, you know, some days I know that my mental is a bit wobbly, and I don't really want to just see, because numbers don't mean shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, numbers don't really mean anything. How many people you raid with doesn't really mean anything. But, you know, it still carries that kind of weight to it, I suppose. You know, because again, you spent your entire stream cultivating a space that's not focused on numbers, and then you are made to focus on numbers, and you're like, you know? I think I felt the pressure before. Like I will just raid and lurk straight away because I am exhausted after a stream. Like I do not have time to sit like to chit chat with people. I need to go and get usually food, or I need to like just have a breather and stuff. I can't stick around. Where is my snipper? Oh, it's on the floor. Love. I just do not have that within me to do that. So I always raid and fade. Usually. I say like, hey, I'm really, really tired after stream. I gotta go. And that's completely valid because I want that for everyone who comes into my stream that might raid. I'm like, we're very lurker friendly here. It's totally fine. It's like I've got a lot better at just yapping regardless. I can yap, yap, yap. It doesn't matter if there's a response or not. Like just yap, yap, yap and stuff. And I'm getting a lot better at that. I think TikTok has helped me a lot with that, because filming TikTok videos, no one's going to be talking back to you. So you just got to keep going. Do you know what I mean? It's not that type of thing, right? It's a video, so you're not going to get yaps response, and stuff, which is totally fine. And it's like, I've always really been fine with that on Twitch, to be honest, because I'm like, I'm happy enough just yip yapping and people can get what they want from it. Hey, Goblin, welcome in. I hope you're doing so well today. We have been cross-stitching today for St. Patrick's Day. We've only actually done the border, which is ridiculous. It seems like I should have done loads more. But I think, like, I always underestimate how quick it is. But also once you, like, you have to swap threads and stuff, and I'm not the fastest cross-stitcher because, again, like, sometimes it just doesn't want to come through the fabric, right? And you're just like, it's just not happening. It just won't do it, so it's vibes. Yeah, it's technically four-leaf clovers and not shamrocks, but I didn't read the thing properly when I bought it, so that's my own fault. We vibing. Yeah, I think it's like I personally have been quite enjoying making short form content because, again, it's just I'm talking to the camera, and if people want to comment once they've watched the video, they can, but like nobody's going to be responding to you in real time, Happy St. Patrick's Day, hell yeah. Like, no one's going to be responding to you in real time, right? So then you're just going to be like, so you just kind of yab. And I've been really, I really enjoy documenting. Admittedly, I think the videos kind of flopped, but I really enjoyed them nonetheless. Filming the parts to my ADHD journey that I was updating everyone on TikTok. Because it was kind of like a video essay type of situation, I suppose, which is the type of content that I quite enjoy watching. So, it was just kind of, yeah, like a video essay where it was basically just like talking at the camera about the topic and stuff, just going through each point. And obviously I had to split it up into multiple parts and stuff, but I just quite enjoy that. Like, I don't know, I've just really been enjoying the platform. It's difficult because TikTok obviously is a difficult platform, There's a lot of not so great things about it that I don't love. But it also has, like, genuinely started to change my life a little bit because I'm earning quite a lot more on it than I used to with commissions through like affiliate links and stuff like that. And things, I've been reached out to by brands and stuff, so I've got a few things coming that I'll be doing reviews for. And it's like stuff like that I just didn't really have access to beforehand, and now I do. And even though I'm not a very big creator on there, like, it's opening up a lot more for me and stuff, which is really, really cool, and I think it's helped me a lot not focus constantly on streaming because I have other outlets to be creative in terms of like making videos and talking to people, as well as Twitch. And then if I fancy doing something longer, then Twitch is kind of more my long form content because, although it's live and stuff, it's still, I do it for extended periods of time, whereas I usually, obviously, for a TikTok would only be filming for like up to 10 minutes or something and then whatever. So it's kind of vibes and things, but just kind of been experimenting really because, again, and I'm a Lush affiliate as well. Casual plug. I've enjoyed that as well because I get to make posts about products that I love, and I might be able to make commission on it and stuff or things like that, which is always great, and no cost to the people who use the link, which is slay as well. Sometimes there's freebies. There is a freebie at the moment going on if you spend over 15 on your order when you go through the link, which is cool. So it's just like that's something I'm passionate and I enjoy, and I've really been enjoying doing that because it's a little way to support myself, but it's also fun too. which is always great, really. Karma is such a good scent. I love. Like, it's such a nice, like, earthy, like, patchouli scent. I used to have, I think I used to have the solid perfume of Karma. And I really, really like the smell of it. It's very, like, earthy vibes, which I very much enjoy. Okay, we are approaching the end now. I haven't done these little cornery bits, but we move. We move. I am just going to finish it there because it's a nice place to finish it, and it's also 3 o'clock. I haven't eaten since 11, which is like 4 hours ago. I'm not hungry, but my appetite is non-available at the moment. But I'm just going to force myself to eat some cereal because I can stomach cereal. Yeah, I know. I used to have the bath bomb scrubby things as well. I used to. What also was the other Karma thing that I had? Jeez, I had something else that was Karma, but what was it? I think it was like a shower, not shower gel, shower bomb or something. I don't even know if that's discontinued now, which is really sad. But I love that so much. My favorite scent is Intergalactic, which is like a peppermint. It's just so nice to me. Or Sleepy, which is like lavender vibes. Love, 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 love. Lol. Yeah, it's really pretty though. I like the sofa a lot. Right, this is what we've got done today, friends. Just the border. Just the border. I honestly thought like it would easily. Do you know what I mean? Like I thought I would get more done, but I think it's just like when you're doing it, it takes longer. I might end up doing a bit more of this today. It really depends. Like one of my eyes is like throbbing, so I'm gonna open my curtains and let the natural sunlight back in because being like this in a cave is not helpful at all. And I think I will get something to eat, a little bit of Lucozade to pep me up. And I think I will feel a lot better. I probably will get fuck all done the rest of the day, but that's totally fine. We're allowed to do fuck all. Like, we're allowed to do fuck all. That's completely fine. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I haven't celebrated it properly in a long time. I've never really had, like, anything to do. So thank you so much for coming to celebrate it. Thank you so much for the raid tea. Thank you so much, everyone, for the resubbies as well. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, thank you for just, like, hanging out and yapping and stuff. I don't know when I'll next be live. I really can't imagine it's this week. I don't have therapy on Thursday, but I am thinking I probably still won't be live that day because I feel I don't know. I mean it's a possibility. I don't know. It's a possibility, but who knows. But let's hop on to stream ending real quick, friends. And let's get these raid messages going. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I really, really appreciate it, especially also watching the increased ads because I know they're more than usual. And I really, really appreciate it because it is helping me make some extra money that I honestly appreciate so much. So I'm just going to go pop over to Twitch to see who we can raid. Who is live at the moment. Let's see. Let's see what Journey is. Oh my god, I forgot how hard it is to like pick someone. How hard it is to like pick someone when you just like look at it and you're like, what? I think we're gonna go over to Jinx. I think Jinx has just got started. They're playing Monster Hunter. Jinx is a lovely, lovely streamer. They are a snail PNG tuber, which I think is always iconic. And I think they've only been live like a little bit, I think. Yeah, they're still on starting soon, but let's go give them some friends. Let's go drop off some friends. It always feels like you're dropping them off at like play school or something, being like, we're gonna just drop off everyone. I don't know why it always feels like that. But thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I do appreciate it all so, so much. Make sure you copy those raid messages to show where you have come from. Again, unsure when I will be back next, but I will keep you all up to date. So if you aren't following me on socials, follow me here. And then this is my Discord if you want to hop on as well. I will keep people updated on streams, both in Discord and socials, because I appreciate not everyone is part of both. So I will update. I'm mainly most active on Blue Sky. That's available on the link tree there as well. And then Discord, I have like an announcements and stream pings and stuff that I use to let people know when I'm next going to be live or when I'm maybe going to be doing a Discord stream and like stuff like that. So just definitely keep like an eye on that. And if I ever can, I'll try and put it on my Twitch schedule so you can see that too. But honestly, it's a bit ad hoc, so I doubt it. I doubt it. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I really, really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one real soon. Bye.